Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the recap of the Walking Dead universe. We are here live every week to discuss the latest episodes. You can catch our recaps at any time on most podcast platforms, so get new and past episodes for free in the app of your choice, including YouTube. For those of you joining us live today, thanks for taking time out of your evening to be here. I am Tamara Ford, and I love a good TV show and a good book, of course. So if you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Recap Pods. And if you're into books, you can also find me at Shelf Addiction. Joining me is show co-host Lisa. Welcome, Lisa.
Hey, Tamara. Hey, everyone. My name is Lisa Orban. I am an author. I am also the founder of Indies United Publishing House, and I love all things pop culture. If you would like to connect with me, you can do it pretty much everywhere online at Lisa Orban Author.
All right. So before we get going, we just want to remind you that we would love your participation in this conversation. So if you are listening live on YouTube or Facebook, hit us up in the comment section. And if you're catching this on a replay, you can still comment on any platform, or you can even call in using the voicemail link in the show notes. So we want to hear from you and possibly include your comments in upcoming episodes. So if you are new to the podcast, we are laid back in our review style, right, Lisa?
Absolutely. This is a conversation, not a dissertation.
Absolutely. No scene by scene breakdowns here. We jump around, and huge spoiler alert for everything, every show up through this past Sunday. So if you're cool with that, we're cool with you. And this is the place you need to be, and we're going to get started.
All right.
All right. So today we are talking about Fear the Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 12. And what's the name of this episode? It was
Sunny Boy.
Sunny Boy.
Look at me remembering a name.
Look at that. Wonders never cease.
Okay, I am going to say right off the bat that this was probably one of the the best episode they've had so far this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so mad. Okay.
Aww.
I am so pissed off right now at this episode. Okay? I mean,
Okay.
stupid dumb. I'm mad at this episode.
Well, I guess I can guess why you're mad. Does it have to do with John?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because I kind of feel like, I know they said afterwards in the little after, chat or whatever, that, they want you to care about the people before they off them. And if you're mad about it or sad about it, then they've done their job. I'm like, okay.
Okay. I want to make a clarification here. I am not upset that John is dead. That's not why I'm upset.
Oh, why are you upset then?
Because he had Strand dead to rights and he could have killed him.
Oh.
And ended the whole thing.
Okay, look. I said that exact same thing. When he knocked him out, I said, why didn't you just kill him?
He didn't even have to fire a shot. Did you see all that ancient weaponry in there? He could have just put a sword through the guy's eye.
I know.
Done.
I know.
That would have been the end. Would have had to take the baby outside. Could have let, the rest of Morgan's group right in. Would have ended the war. Everything would have been fine. All he had to do was kill Strand. Right there. Dead to rights. Right in front of him. Laying on the floor. Helpless as a baby. Literally. And did
then
they
it's
do
like,
it? No.
And then it's like, well, why not? Honestly, John, you're going to die anyway.
I know.
What do you have to feel guilty about? I just don't understand why he didn't do it. It just seemed like
because he could have killed Strand, taken the baby, made sure that Grace and whoever else that he wanted protected was in a secured location, covered by people he trusted. All right, and then he could have again called in Morgan, said, "All right, here we go, come through the tunnels," because it wasn't raining no more,
right?
And that would have been the end. Strand is dead. Okay, we've already killed off what's his name? Howard. Howard's dead. Strand is dead. And half of the people that are there don't even want to be there anymore. It's just safer than being outside. But after the reign of terror that Strand's had, throwing people off the roof left and right, all 2-3 days, or however long this was going over, he dumped 6 people over the side, including Howard.
No.
I'm sorry. If he had stood up and said, "Hey, I killed Strand," people would have gone, "All right." Seriously, the loyalist person he had to him was Howard, and Howard's dead.
I know. I was wondering, like, okay, so John killed Howard. He did what he had to do. And
Yeah.
then he was like, well, he's still not giving me, he like tricked me basically. He's not giving me what I thought. I really don't have access to him. He doesn't really want to hear what I have to say.
No.
And I think that was the turn in his mind, which June told him before, is not going to work.
Right. Well, not only that, but he should have known the minute that Strand started laughing and saying, well, he's better off where he is because his wife and kid aren't coming back. Why not? Oh, we found him, months
Oh,
ago.
I
You didn't
know.
tell him? No. I
Mm-mm.
mean, right there, right there. That should have been if he was as good of a lawman, as good of a detective as he claims to be. All right, at that point, he should have gone, haha, okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I was surprised. I mean, surprised, but not surprised. It's like I expect nothing less from Strand's character at this point, but I was still shocked how easily he gave up Howard. He was like, he meant nothing. He like
No,
nothing. And I'm like, he did a lot of shit for you.
I know. I mean, the man pretty much crawled through shit for Strand. Okay, he was at his beck and call. He did everything he thought Strand would want him to do. He did things that he probably even honestly found repulsive. He said as much when he was talking, when they had that little conversation, about his past and the wife and the kids. And he even said, when Howard was asked, well, what if your wife and kids don't show up? Well, we can't talk about that because I don't want to talk about the things I've done because I've done
Yeah.
this all for them. You know, so he knows he has done some terrible rank stuff here.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and all for Strand. I mean, Strand just brutally used him,
Yeah.
and then gave it up and told Dory. And
He's like,
then
oh well.
at that point, Dory should have when Strand turned his back on him, which was honestly a very stupid thing to do. Um, Dory should have killed him. End of discussion.
It would
That
have been
should
the
have been
easiest
that would have
thing.
been should have been the end of it. And
Yeah.
I understand they have a plot line, but no, this was dumb. Dory's whole sacrifice was unnecessary.
Yeah, and to think, so you literally just killed someone because of Strand, because he quote unquote forced you to do it, basically.
And didn't
And
kill
now,
Strand. Why not?
right, and now you have the chance to get him back and you didn't do it. Like,
Why
it's
not kill
weird.
Strand? I kind of get this is my one issue with like hero movies or hero comic book stuff. So we've got the hero, all right, who will kill every single lackey, thousands of lackeys. But when it comes to the main boss, the one that's directing all the little lackeys, the minions, oh no, can't kill them. That would be morally wrong.
Mhm.
You know, and then
Mhm.
they pick him up and they go through whatever battle and then they put him in jail and they break out of jail and do it all over again.
Mhm.
And I so it's like to be the hero, you can't do the dirty work. But honestly, sometimes to be the hero, you have to do the dirty work. And
Right.
in this case, what John Dory absolutely should have done is kill Strand. Because
I
if he's
agree.
all concerned about the number of people that can get hurt and that kid being safe, and if that kid is his legacy and keeping the tower is part of it, then you shouldn't be sneaking her out under a 14th century armor. You should be killing the man that is making everything untenable for every other human being on earth,
Mhm.
or at least a section of it, and bringing in Morgan.
Because honestly, you didn't have to walk out there with those walkers. You didn't have to be out there at all.
No, it was dumb. And it was just, well, we just needed to give him a really tearful farewell. That was dumb.
Okay, so also with that little farewell, let me just and I know this is probably going to sound mean, but I'm sorry. That fucking singing.
Ah,
I couldn't stand it. I'm like, "Oh my god, how long is this singing gonna go on? Just
Well,
stop it. I don't even like the song that you're singing. It
till he's
sounds
dead. That's how long
it's
it's going to go on. Till
I
he's
know,
dead.
but I'm like nails on the chalkboard. I didn't like that at all. And I know it's like, oh, it's supposed to be so, sad and, just really bring it home with that song. But with them both singing, I'm like, no,
Hmm.
just
Well,
stop.
and the thing I really didn't understand. Okay, so he was like, John was supposed to be my legacy, but he's gone now. Okay, fine. But why he is latched? Why is everyone latched onto this one particular baby?
Okay, you said the word already, legacy. I said I should have had a drinking game out of this episode.
Oh
How
God, you
many
think?
times they said the word
Word
legacy?
legacy. Mm,
Everybody would have been drunk.
half hour in. No,
But
because that
yeah,
was it.
yeah.
John talked about his legacy, or Dory with his son John, and
Mhm.
Strand talked about the tower being his legacy, and Dory
Mhm.
telling him he wasn't going to have a legacy if he kept doing what he was
Mhm.
doing, and Howard was talking about his legacy and what he was going to bring to his family. You know, and
Yeah,
that's all they talked about, and all I'm thinking is, y'all's dumb.
I know. I'm like, is that what you're worried about right now? And I agree with you. Like, why is everyone holding every single hope and dream on Baby Mo? Like, why?
I don't know.
Like,
I
there's
want to
other
know.
kids.
There are. There are other babies. There were other babies born. You know, I understand that Mo belongs to, Morgan, but that's not the point.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the fact here again, and here is my other issue. Are investing so much in this stupid building.
I
And
know.
the thing of it is, think about the kingdom. What happened to the kingdom? Things, parts would break down. The building is already breaking down. Two
Mm-hmm.
people or more than two people have already been exposed to freaking radiation poisoning.
And
Because
it's not going to end because they got those. Have you seen those crazy looking walkers outside that
yeah,
place? It's
they're
not
just
going to
spreading
end.
more radiation.
Yeah.
So the fact is
Where'd it go? Here
this
it is.
this tower is not sustainable. I don't.
Yeah. Look at
It's
that. That's gross.
I know. But they get all the boils and everything else. Look,
Yeah.
it's radiation leprosy.
Yeah.
Zombies. Um, but the thing, like I said, they're all fighting over this stupid building. And the fact is, without regular maintenance, a high rise falls. Okay, because it's not even brick.
Yes. Mostly
Okay, it's mostly
glass.
glass.
Yeah.
They've got, they're none of them are really on the bottom the bottom of it. So I suppose they're feeling, even if the walkers get in, they can push them out again. Um, because I think they're all living in like the top half of the building and they're leaving the bottom half alone. But that's even worse because that means no one's doing maintenance on the bottom floors.
Mm-hmm.
The pipes, the electricity, the wiring, you know, dry rot. I, buildings need to be occupied and maintained to be healthy. That's just how it works. Buildings that are abandoned do not do well. And like I
Yeah.
said, we've already, the elevator's already breaking down. You're already seeing small signs of breakage throughout this entire building.
Well, I mean, elevators break in well kept buildings. They break
I
in
know.
apartment buildings every day.
But
Um,
you see, that's the thing
yeah,
though. You know, things break every day, all the time in apartments all over the place.
right.
It's not like they have a lot of spare parts. You
Hence,
know.
why, what's her face went out there looking for elevator parts. Like,
Mhm.
really? Okay.
Well, so far, to fix the elevator. All right, so Charlie got radiation poisoning.
Yep.
So did Dory.
Yep.
All right. So if those two got it, we know the kid did too. So him getting thrown off the roof just it shortened his life a little bit. Didn't end it really.
Yeah, because there's no
Um,
way he couldn't have gotten it if both of them did.
exactly. The
Yeah.
entire group of what, 5 or 7 they sent off beforehand all died from radiation. So right there, that's almost 10 people that have died to fix an elevator.
Well, Strand put out that call at the end. He's like, "Hey, anyone listening, you are welcome here."
Hmm.
Now he's not going to be so picky about who he lets in.
Well, of
Hey,
course
come
not. He's
on.
throwing people, 3 people off the fucking tower,
I know.
every day.
And he's not saying that, "Oh, come here and you could be thrown off the roof."
I mean, so like I said, if Dory had killed him at this point, even if the people weren't in open rebellion at this point, there would have been relief. They wouldn't have been mad. Everybody right now is living in freaking terror of this man. All he had to do was kill him.
I
Why
know.
didn't he kill him? It makes no sense.
Well,
Strain
I
is
do.
one man who doesn't have that many loyal followers anymore.
Well, I wonder if he's going to be killed by either Morgan or Alicia, because I know that most of the big bads die, right? I know that
Hmm.
Negan is an exception, right? He's an exception, but all the others, think about them, they've all been killed.
Yeah.
And I feel like at this point, Strand is so far gone. Oh, he's was it Strand's motto? Yeet.
Yeet.
Yeet. That's in the comments, y'all.
I'm
But
sorry.
he's so far gone though. Like, I feel like he's a legit villain and he should
Yeah,
die.
he should. And again, and I know they want to set it up so that either it's between him and Morgan or him and Alicia. Okay, I know they want the big showdown. But the fact is, all right, in that position, if that man was stupid enough to turn his back on me after basically thumbing your nose at me, okay, and and saying you're stupid. Hey, look, I pulled one over on you. I made you kill somebody and go through hell. Look at you. You're
Mhm.
dumb. Okay, I'm sorry. I would have
Mhm.
killed him. He turned his back on me and he was dumb. And I
Right.
would have killed him because it would have saved everyone a whole lot of problems.
That makes sense. And we say, or I say a lot of time, make it make sense. And this whole universe a lot of the time doesn't make sense. So I don't know. I know they just want that big scene, right? Between him and
Then
whoever, but
if,
pay it
if they
off.
right, well, and the thing of it is if they really wanted to make that scene, make it you know, have their big showdown. They never should have put they never should have put Strain in such a vulnerable position. Okay, he never should have been with his back turned, and Dory never should have been in the position to have killed him. Because I know I can't be the only person in the face of the earth that watched that episode and went, "Why didn't you kill him?
Yeah.
Why is that man not dead?"
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like Dory hasn't killed people before, and he planted evidence. You know, I mean, he knew what could possibly happen. With Howard getting that radio found on him. He
Mhm.
knew because
Mhm.
he sat there and watched person after person being thrown off that freaking tower.
Yeah.
So no, I mean they should have, if they wanted to keep the battle royale for the end of it, what they really should have done is in the end, done their little thing, but in the end had Dory take the baby out through the tunnel
Yeah,
and
and he
and
had a
never.
chance. Like that whole tunnel scene, honestly, that whole thing between Dory and June, that was aggravating to me, like straight up. I'm like,
Yeah.
you clearly can leave. You had moments where you could have left, and he didn't. And I'm like, I don't understand this at all. Like, it made no sense. And for once,
No.
June was actually making sense. She
So.
that was wasteful. This, I mean,
Mhm.
when you start breaking it down, yeah, it was wasteful, but hopefully we get what we want in the end. Hopefully it'll be worth it in the end.
Well, like I said, and I know what they're doing. They're trying to save Strand for the big battle so that we have this big epic fight. But honestly, I don't care.
Mhm.
Okay, Strand's annoying me. I don't even like this whole tower idea. The idea that people are going to fight and die over something that can't be maintained for probably another 5 years is just really annoying to me.
Yeah.
Um, and they had a chance to kill him, and the fact that the writers didn't see how that would affect the story.
Well, this isn't the first time. Remember,
I know,
Morgan could have killed him
I know,
easily,
I
and he
know.
didn't. So
Morgan
it's like
didn't even
this.
have to fucking admit that he did it. That
No.
he could have let Strand die down there,
Hmm.
okay, but instead he had a moment of weakness. I'm sorry, if you go somewhere to kill somebody, you follow through.
Right. And now he regrets making that choice, I'm sure. But it's like, why are we giving Strand nine lives? I guess maybe he is the plot device. They're
I
using
guess.
him. I mean, I guess, but
I mean,
I
I
don't
get
know.
uh, from one point of view, I guess maybe because Strand has actually been there since the beginning, pretty much. So they're trying to give him his big hurrah before the end.
And if they
Um,
even do it, because I'm not, I mean, honestly, I'm teetering on if they're actually even going to kill him, because there's a strong indication that Alicia will be leaving the show.
yeah.
There's a very strong indication of that. There's been in the news that she's gotten another job with Hulu, like a being the lead in some kind of, like, I guess,
Mm,
mini series. And they've given her this disease. It seems like they can't cure it. So
right.
it's a really strong indication that she's leaving.
Right.
And then if they kill Strand, that's two series originals that will be gone.
But they're bringing back Madison.
They are bringing her back, and they're going to need it, cuz honestly, think about it. They're out of, like, really good protagonists, right? Like, everyone is kind of either an antagonist or a bad guy. Like, no one is,
Mm-hmm.
like, really a good person anymore. Not really. Out of Alicia or Morgan, cuz Morgan used to be like the golden boy, and now he's making
Mm-hmm.
choices that are questionable.
Yeah. Everyone is operating in this really weird. There's honestly, if we hadn't have been watching either one of these groups, okay, from well, I wasn't from the beginning, but since Madison supposedly died. But the thing of it is there's I hate to say it, but it's getting to the point where there is no one on the show I like anymore.
Mhm.
I'm irritated with Morgan. He's doing stupid stuff. Um, you know, what's her name? The one that not Ophelia, but that he thought was Ophelia. You
Oh,
know,
um yeah.
yeah. She was making some questionable choices
Mhm.
and preying on on an unhinged mind. Um, I mean, all of them are doing just stupid stuff. It doesn't make it. I mean, they're not. There is no one at this point can claim any moral high ground because they're all just rolling around in the mud.
They are. I mean, now what does that mean? Karina says in the comments, Madison will redeem him. Will Madison come in and be the hero? Is that what they're going to do with her character?
Oh, thank you, Karina. It's Luciana.
Luciana, yeah.
But yeah, but even then, I mean, okay, so fine. We over on The Walking Dead. We've got Negan with his redemption arc. All right, but the fact is Negan at least started off, prior to the apocalypse as a decent person. He was a gym teacher, he loved his wife, he helped people, and until he had his snapping moment and became Negan. um so whereas Strand has always been selfish, self-centered, operating in the gray. His pre-apocalypse life. He wasn't a great guy. He was pretty shady. Had a lot of shady dealings. Didn't treat people well. So I mean,
Well,
it's
okay,
not like there's a
wasn't
good
Negan like
person
a
to pull
cheater or
out.
some shit? Like there was something he did. He wasn't a golden boy before.
Who?
Negan, he
Negan?
did on his wife or something. He did something.
Well, he wasn't a great. I mean, he lost his job and stuff, and he kind of slumped into a spiral.
I
But
mean, I kind of feel like in some respects it doesn't matter who you were before. We're
well,
so removed from that. Who you are now is what counts. What you are doing now, you don't get a pass forever.
right. Well, no, I mean, what I'm saying is there's really, you scratch below the surface of, Victor, and what do you get? Same. Victor really has, he's turned more bad, but
Mhm.
he was always not good. There's
Right.
really not, appealing to his better self is really just dumb because there's never really been a better self to appeal to. Even when Madison had her stadium and things were going pretty good, what's he doing? He's stealing food from him,
Mhm.
to make sure he makes it if everything goes bad.
Right.
So I mean, it's just, he's always been the selfish dick. I mean, he has a few moments where he is palatable, where he does an almost human thing, and we're like, oh, look, Strand's being decent. But he's not a good guy. He's never been a good guy. So for Madison to come and redeem him, there's really, I mean, what are they going to do? Give him a lobotomy?
I mean, honestly, anything is possible. Like, see what they did with Father Gabriel's character, right? He was the worst when he came on that show. You see what he did? He put his people out of the church.
That's true.
He was shitty.
Yeah,
And
he was a
they have
coward, is
right. He
what he
was
was.
but that made him shitty. He did shitty things
Yeah,
because he was a coward.
he was a coward. Okay. I mean, I guess I'll
So,
give you that, but
and
I don't
Eugene,
know.
he was the worst. He was the worst too.
Yeah,
So there's a
I
lot
think
of
I guess the biggest thing is Strand has really, character wise, has really not changed since we first met him in the first season. I
Mhm.
mean, and I probably have a little more perspective because I saw him first season, and then I saw him fourth season. And I'm like, he's the same person, you know. There were he there is there has never been a lot of character development for him. He's never had an epiphany. He's never had a come to Jesus moment. You know, he's always operated in this very gray area. And I mean, he's up to this point he's never been evil. He's never done hostily malicious things.
I think that's
Um
only because he had people or a person that he cared about around him at the time.
mm,
So for example, Alicia, he cared about Alicia.
he had a
So that
boyfriend for a while there too.
yeah, so those like things were like stopgaps, right? They were like,
Mhm.
okay, he's bad, but these people are going to stop him from going completely dark, right?
Right.
Um but now that he doesn't have anyone and Alicia is not on his side, he's really going for broke. Like he's
Yeah.
putting all the chips down.
Well, and the thing of it was is even the confrontation between him and Alicia was really just kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I mean it was, the fact is he put that whole thing up there to bring Alicia in, and it wasn't even at that point, it wasn't even to invite her in anymore. It was just mostly to go, na 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 na, look what I got. Um and I don't know, I'm having difficulties
Hmm.
with Fear the Walking Dead right now. I'm all the characters I've really kind of that I've watched the show for, that I've liked, um have pretty much been killed off,
Hmm.
um with the exception of Morgan. And I don't know what they're doing with Morgan. I don't, I mean, honestly, if you think about it, since the second half started, I don't think we've seen him for more than maybe 10 minutes of screen time.
No, and I think that's a fault of the writing and the strategy of kind of doing a anthology-ish style
Mhm.
season. You don't get to see the main characters all the time, and they're
Right.
gone for weeks at a time. Like Alicia, we haven't seen her but again, since that first,
Yeah.
like, well, so she'll be back I think next week,
Right.
but that was like 3 episodes she wasn't there or
Mhm.
something. So,
So yeah, I sorry guys. I just I kind of see what they're trying to do, but the fact is it's just there's I don't like it. I don't like the fact that the 10 minutes of screen time that we have seen Morgan throughout this entire thing has been him being either lame or very questionable. And
yeah,
aside from taking the baby, that's about it. Everything else has been very lackluster.
I
And even
agree.
Strand, we really this was like really the first episode we've had a Strand centric. He's been mentioned a lot, but not seen a lot.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I am not I'm not connecting to the characters. I'm not connecting to the plot. I'm having a hard time, guys.
They
I'm gonna
need
tough it out,
they
but I'm having a hard
honestly,
time.
they need a refresh. Like, that again supports what we were talking about last week of a time jump. They need
Mm-hmm.
a refresh. They
Yeah.
need to start over. They
Uh-huh.
need to have new writers and possibly new showrunners.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And they need to have a plan.
they need to have a plan, and the show can be saved. This show has to do better because once The Walking Dead is gone, people are going to be relying on this show to carry it.
Right. I
And
mean,
it,
they have their other shows, but for the most part, there's a six-piece anthology. That it's just
right.
they're one and done episodes. I mean, there
But
will
let's
be
keep
the
it real though. Only the
yeah,
diehards are going to watch all those spin-offs.
right. And then there's the Norman Reedus show, which honestly, I would not be shocked if that gets higher ratings right now than the Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead.
I don't know. It depends on what they do with it.
Yeah,
Honestly, the shit could be trash. It could be
it could
trash
be, but
because
and
now that
then
he doesn't have his main, bestie character to play
I
off
know,
of, they're going to have to do something completely different. And who knows if they know how to write for that or if they can even be creative in that way, being
yeah,
that they had planned for one thing and now they have to do something else.
right. I mean, and then we've got Morgan and uh, Maggie.
Negan and
So,
Maggie.
huh? Or sorry,
Negan
yeah,
and
Negan and
Maggie.
Maggie. You're right.
Which also could be trash.
It could be trash.
Um, I'm gonna hope not, but it could be.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I was reading an article the other day, and basically the guy was saying it is so hard to watch Fear the Walking Dead right now. And I think the only reason why I'm continuing to watch and to write these articles, I think it was for like entertainment or something like that. Um, he's like, is I've invested all this time into this show, and by God, I'm gonna see it through.
I know. I feel like that too. Like, we have invested
Yeah,
years into this show, and to just I have a hard time just turning off the faucet like that. Just be like, I'm done. Like, I've never been that kind of person when I'm so far into it.
well, and it has redeemed itself several times.
Yeah.
Where it was even better then. You
Right.
know, The Walking Dead. It was straight up better. And then I don't know what happened. They just
They got new showrunners. That's what
uh,
happened. They
I
changed showrunners, and
I don't
then
approve.
yeah, so they need another change, and
Yeah,
hopefully they will come through with a time jump. They will, because we need it. We need it so bad.
yeah. I mean, the baby's getting bigger. I mean, if we want to keep her on the show, we really need her to be at least Judith age at this point.
Mhm.
Um, and it's they've got him in the middle of this radiation and this stupid tower and all this. I want to see them all away from this whole nuclear wasteland thing. I don't care. I don't care if they show back up in California after a time jump,
Mhm.
okay? Or Oregon or New York City. I don't care at this point. I want them out of this location,
Yeah,
okay?
I
And
mean,
I want
honestly,
them at
if
least 5 years ahead.
they did a huge time jump and we didn't have a lot of these characters anymore, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't even be mad. I wouldn't even be mad if they just introduced several new characters and a bunch of these characters died.
Yeah. I wouldn't even, and again, like we were talking, it's and they've kind of hinted at this over at The Walking Dead that there may be some upcoming surprises after uh, The Walking Dead ends. They A few characters may end up on this show somehow. But
Yeah,
again,
which we speculated like what, 2 or 3 weeks ago we were talking about that, like who's
yeah,
going to show up on this show.
and again, very
Yeah.
much my guess is right now it's going to be Carol because they've got to pay her whether that she's in a show or not. She gets
Mhm.
paid, so they might as well utilize her.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, I
um,
mean she's still, yeah, she's still in the contract, right? She
yeah,
just she can't go to Europe, and that's fine,
right,
but they can utilize her on Fear.
right. And like I said, at this point, she's getting paid whether she's on screen or not. Period. That's part of the contract.
Mhm.
So if they have to pay her, they're going to put her in something, and it's not going to be one episode in a 6 episode anthology, a one and done,
Yeah.
because that's just again that's a
Oh.
huge waste of money because they are
Mhm.
paying her some buku bucks.
And people
Um,
like her character. They
mhm.
enjoy her character.
So if I would love. I mean, I really liked Morgan and Carol on screen together.
Mhm.
Okay, they were so I mean, you could. They were so antagonistic to each other, and they were always on the opposite end of the spectrum. When Morgan was a Buddhist, Zen Buddhist, she was, the terrible killer, and when he was the terrible killer, she was a Zen Buddhist.
Mhm.
Always.
Mhm.
Um, but I would really like to see. I think it would be awesome to see the two of them on screen. And Carol she's not a leader, but she is resourceful, and she is a good lieutenant.
I know, but could she be a lieutenant to Madison?
No, but I could see her to Morgan.
I don't think that they would bring her back here in a secondary character status. I think they intend on restoring her to the lead as she was
Oh,
before.
jeez, make
I
me
know.
gag.
I know.
Y'all trying to make me puke? Is that what y'all doing?
Look, I'm just saying because there is no way. I mean, that woman, that character's died, okay? There's no way she made it out of there. Explain that to me.
Nah, I don't know.
They're probably
I
going to just act like it never happened.
And then we all woke up and it was all different, you know.
Right.
And Johnny fell out of bed.
It was
It was
all a
all in that
dream.
dream. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, so I think what was it we determined? They have to make a time jump of at least 10 years, or is it
Mhm.
5 years to get current with
Yeah,
The
I think it's
Walking
like
Dead.
5-ish years or something.
So,
Give or
and
take a
again,
couple years.
you know, a a jump like that would be awesome. And if they could bring Carol in, I mean, and now here's the thing. Keep this in mind. They could absolutely do this. They could just bring them on closer to, they could have Carol out scouting for people to bring back, to their community. Um, they're so yeah. I mean, they could do a whole bunch of different things. Even though The Walking Dead is officially done, that doesn't mean they can't utilize the thing, whatever's
Her and others.
her
Others
and
could show up
others.
on this show as well.
Yeah,
Um,
so
yeah.
I would like to see that. Mostly because at this point, and because Madison isn't going to save the show.
I don't think she will, but for some reason they have it in her head that she will. Like the showrunners and everyone who is yip yip yay, hooray, they've all got in their head that she's going to be the savior of the show. And I don't understand why. I don't get it.
I don't know. I will
I
tell
don't
you
get
that
it.
she crawls under my skin,
I know.
and I don't like her.
I know.
I don't. The when I started watching it again after she had technically died, but they were doing the flashback things to her.
Mhm.
Every time she was on screen, I'm like, God, oh, woman, really? God, I just don't like you.
I know.
I mean, and I'd have to force myself to watch the scenes with her in it. And again, right now, it's already getting hard for me to watch. So when Madison comes back, depending on the role that she's in, oh, guys, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be like nails on a chalkboard every time she's on screen for me.
I know. The only thing I can hope is that they're going to change her character's disposition or something about that character they are going to change. They're going to refresh her because she's been gone a long time, right? She's been with different people. She hasn't, I mean, that's a long time for someone's personality to change. She could be harder, she could be softer. I mean, I feel like they can't just throw in the same character acting the same way
I
after
don't
that
think
long
they
away.
will, but I don't know. They're just I don't know. I don't. I'm gonna be truthful. I don't care much for the actress personally.
Mm,
I've never really cared for anything she's been in. Um, but her character in Fear the Walking Dead really grated on me. And how can you be whiny and tough at the same time?
well, it takes a special kind of person.
Yes.
So let's see. In the comments, Karina has a prediction. She feels like Charlie's going to die,
Oh yeah.
Daniel will die, and Mo will
Yeah.
age up. So, do you think Daniel will survive the time jump?
Nope.
No.
I don't think. I don't. I think he is going to die taking the tower or shortly thereafter.
Do you think Charlie will survive?
Oh hell no.
I feel like the writing's on the wall for her, but come on, Alicia's walking around like a half zombie. Why couldn't Charlie live longer with radiation?
I don't know.
Couldn't she just be a sick person forever and just I don't know. I
I don't
feel
know if
like
if we get her pregnant, she can have a magical radiation baby.
well her
And
last chance of pregnancy just flew off the roof the other week. So
oh come on, we can find somebody. It's the apocalypse. We're not picky.
there's someone else out there. I
There's
don't
got to
know.
be.
I just feel like there's a shot she could last a little longer. Not that she'll recover, but
Yeah,
they could definitely have her sickly a little longer if they really wanted to.
they. I think they're going to have her lingering for a while as a trope,
Mhm.
but I don't think in the end. I don't think I don't think she'll survive.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't know about Daniel though. I mean, because if it's really just PTSD, he could bounce back. He could bounce back.
I no. What I
Um,
think is going to happen is he's going to find out that he was lied to and manipulated, and he is going to go berserker, and they're going to have to put him down,
See, I think he'll just walk off. Like
or he could just walk off.
he'll just be
But
like, "I'm gonna leave before I kill everyone." I can see
but
him doing that. Like he's not that bad of a person that he would just murder people like that. I don't think he would.
why not?
I mean, those are people that he's been with for a long time now.
Uh huh.
I just feel like you have some kind of link to them, even if they've done something, awful to you.
But he even said, if you lie to me, there was an implicit threat there, about if he found out that she was lying to him about this.
I know, but I still don't think that means he's going to murder everyone. I just don't. Like, she lied. No one else did. She did.
Yeah, but
She did the action.
right, but everyone else maintained the lie so that they could keep him motivated.
You say that, but we don't know what I mean, I want to see a scene where Luciana tells Morgan what she did or something, or where somehow they have a discussion about what she did.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm going to choose that she's keeping that shit to herself. I mean, would you go around saying, "Oh, this is what I did to Daniel so he could help us"?
No, but the thing of it is Daniel's going to say something. We have to
After
take the
the
tower.
fact?
No, because I can see him during the planning session. We have to get Ophelia.
Oh god. And they'll probably just think, "Oh, he's Looney Tunes again."
You
That's
know,
all they'll think.
I don't know. Well, I guess we're just going to have to find it. Because here's the thing with this show, we can make predictions, we can make
We're,
logical
we're rarely
predictions.
right.
But the thing of it is, this show follows no logic,
No.
which makes it really hard to figure out what they're doing. Because again, in reality, in that position that Dory was in real life, they would have killed Victor Strand. They just would have. You know,
Yeah.
um, I'm sorry. It's we are way too far into the apocalypse, and everyone has too much blood under their belts. And considering the things that he's been doing, and the whole point of this thing is to take the tower, then killing him takes the tower.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's the
Absolutely.
center that everything holds to, and if he's gone, the center doesn't hold. So,
S- hmm.
I don't, the fact that they're fighting over a tower in the middle of a nuclear wasteland when they know because they're on the nuclear sub and they saw where more or less where the nukes landed. They weren't out much outside of the radius of where they're at. It didn't go nationwide.
See, I
Okay.
feel like while the tower may look more luxurious and feel more comfortable, I think the sub is safer,
Hmm. But they can't grow anything in there.
right?
And that's the problem. So, but again, I mean, and I know that they're all going, well, it's dangerous out there. Yeah, I know it is. But y'all are out there all the time anyway, scavenging, whatever. And they have a general idea of where these nukes came down. Okay, because again, they have the sub. All right. They have a general idea where the nukes went down. So knowing that, they can plot a course out of there, making certain assumptions.
See, that would just make too much sense, you know?
I know.
And
And
that's the
that's the
thing.
problem.
Like, even with, your theory for this past week, last week you said you
Yeah, I
thought
know.
that, John would take the baby, hide the baby, and then find the baby.
Mm.
um,
I mean, he did find the baby,
you
and
were
he did plant the walkie to,
you were in the wheelhouse,
I
but
was
there's
in the
no
wheelhouse,
yeah.
but you
there's,
know,
there's no way to be like spot on with any theory because they're so all over the place.
yeah.
But
And like I said, logic is not motivating any of this anymore. And I really get the feeling that the showrunners, they don't have a. I don't think any of this stuff is really mapped out. I honestly think they're winging it.
they
You know,
might
and
be.
and I've and listening to them talk, they've even more or less said that. The whole idea for this, the nuclear, detonation was a lark. Someone jokingly apparently brought it up and they decided to run with it. There was
Mm,
no plan for this. There was, they thought, oh, well, this will be interesting,
mm-hmm.
and then not, and again, for me, that whole detonation thing was like jumping the shark. It was that step too far. We're already dealing with zombies, and now we've got a nuclear apocalypse, and now we have idiots running around in it, and no one's trying to leave.
I know.
And I mean, and the one time that John or that Morgan tried to leave with the baby, I gotta tell you, it was like they decided they picked the absolute worst route through the nuclear, through the Fallout game show or
That
video
episode was a
game.
fiasco. Like, what is this?
It was like that video game,
Yeah.
Fallout. And I because and yet, and yet, Morgan's walking around right now with no mask on or anything. They're, they've got horses. Where are they keeping the horses?
I don't know. We still haven't figured that out.
Because they can't take him into the sub. but it's all radioactive around the sub. And I'm not even sure why it is so radiate why there's so much radiation around the sub, because technically when the nukes went off and they went off in a flower, they were while they were overhead, they would have spread out.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it so radiated there? It really shouldn't be. It doesn't make sense. And where are
Yeah.
they keeping the horses?
I know.
Um
Lisa, you should write the showrunners or the writers and be like, just tell me where you keep the
I
horses.
need to know, where are they keeping the horses? How
Just
are they
tell
feeding the
me
horses? How are they feeding the horses? This is a legitimate question. How are they feeding the horses?
what the vegetables are growing on the roof.
No, I'm talking about the horses they have at the sub.
Oh, I don't know. Give them some, I don't know, food. I don't know. What
Because
can they eat?
not a lot, because if everything's radiated, eating the grass, which I've seen the horses do, okay, will give them radiation poisoning. Their horses should all be like mutated and dying. I'm just
Well,
saying.
well, I mean, so we've got 4 more episodes for them to right this wrong and see what happens.
Karina agrees with me.
Yes.
You
I
know,
mean, look, we
I
all
probably
know
should. I
what
should
you
go on Twitter. I should go on Twitter and and just say at Fear the Walking Dead, where are you keeping the horses? I have to know, okay? Because none of this is making any sense.
look, we all know your points are logically correct. Everyone knows that. But
I'm sorry, guys.
that doesn't matter to the show.
I know it kills me, man. It's killing me inside.
I know. You should tweet at them for real. See what happens.
Now that you put the idea in my head, I'm kind of thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
You jumped the shark, man. Where are you keeping the horses? You know, what are you
Okay. So,
feeding them? Okay,
so
horses eat a lot.
yeah. So Karina says she liked 13. It moved things forward, setting the stage.
Yeah, and like I said at the very beginning. I mean, this was the best episode so far, and I'm still mad.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. While I was watching it, I liked it. I was like, oh, John, I did feel bad when he died. But,
I
I
I did a
wasn't
little
entirely
bit.
surprised. I mean, I
I,
wasn't
I'm
surprised.
I was a little bit sad. Mostly I was pissed at him. Legitimately, I was mad. Why didn't you kill Strand? That's the only. I was actually enjoying the show up until. Oops, sorry guys, up until that point, and then that's all. That's the only thing I could think of for the rest of the episode. And as he's carrying the baby out and getting eaten and sacrificing himself, I was also thinking, if you're trying to distract the walkers, why are you stoically taking the bites? Why aren't you screaming your fool head off? And I'm just saying. He doesn't have to be stoic at this point. All right, he's trying to distract them,
He went
and
down like a what do you call it? A stoic death. Like,
yeah.
I will not scream or cry.
But if the whole point is him to sacrifice himself so that the walkers go to him and not to follow
Morgan.
Morgan,
Yeah.
then yelling and screaming would have been appropriate. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
And then Wes, of course, this F you Wes, this is what I felt like when I saw him at the end of, helping out and stuff. I'm like, you are the worst. Like, I understand you did not like what Luciana did, but you really gonna like switch teams, like legit switch teams. Like, I can't I,
Okay, yeah, because Luciana, she lied. Okay, that's bad. I get that. He's been watching people get tossed off the tower since he got there,
I know. Like,
and
how is
somehow
that any
that's
better?
yeah. How is that more moral? I don't know. I don't. Yeah. I'm trying, guys. I'm really trying. It's
I mean,
hard.
I almost think in his mind, he thinks, well, at least Strand is honest about who he is. And Luciana and other people he's seen was kind of like, they appear as good, but they're not really good.
Yeah, and I guess I can
So,
kind of see that. At least he wears his evil on his sleeve.
right. But
Um,
still, that's what you
yeah,
choose to do?
You're going to go team, death wall. I don't
Right.
know. It's
So I'm so sad about the state of humanity. Everyone is awful, but let me go join the worst team ever.
right. Exactly. So yeah, it's I don't know. I'm struggling with this, and we all know that I pick all the episodes apart. We know.
I know. And you know what?
Oh,
Karina says Wes is the new Howard. If that's the fact, we can count on Wes dying.
yeah.
He's
And
not
it's
going to
sad because I
survive.
really liked Wes when we were first introduced to him.
Yeah. That was the dumbest thing. You just signed your death warrant by working with him.
Yep. And I liked Wes's character.
Yeah.
I thought, you know, up until recently, you know, I I didn't think they gave him the character development he deserved.
Mhm.
But I did like his general disposition. Um, so I don't know. I'm trying to think right now, and other than Morgan, he's really the only character I give two shits about right now.
I mean, honestly for me, like I didn't like June for a very very long time, but right now she is the most like I don't know, logical person right
Yeah,
now. And she's actually thinking.
yeah, and I don't mind. I mean, I've never hated June.
Mhm.
I find her annoying at times. Um, and I think she does some really stupid things. But right now, like you said, she's probably the most logical. And but I'm really upset with like Grace. Okay, for a number of reasons, and the main one is she understands radiation. She knows how it works. She's into she's probably the most knowledgeable person they have, and nobody is utilizing her skills.
No. They just put
Nobody.
her in the, "Oh, that's the baby's mama." Well, stand-in mother.
Yeah.
That's the baby's mama box. That's she just, put her in a box, like, but she wasn't even caring for the baby. The baby had a nanny.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what was up with that? Okay.
So I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I mean, and Howard's gone. Strand, have never particularly cared for. Dwight, I like Dwight, but we haven't. I think we saw Dwight for 10 seconds this
Yeah,
season.
right when they were going out to try to, um wasn't he with them when they went out to get the guns the other week?
Well, I mean,
Or
he
was that
was.
Sherry that was with them? One of them was gone.
Yeah,
One
I
of them
think.
was out there, and one of them
Yeah,
was back sub. I can't remember which way it was.
but like I said, I mean, I like him, but we've seen him for like again all of 10, 15 seconds on the screen so far,
I know, I think he'll be back next
and
episode, though.
yeah, but other than that, there's really not any characters that I particularly care for anymore. They've got to do something, man.
I wanna
Um,
root for Alicia a little bit, like, I want her to do something spectacular before she dies.
yeah. I mean, and that would be nice, but Alicia's I've never caught into her character very much.
Mhm.
I kind of I'm going to be real truthful. I've really kind of because of the time that Alicia and Strand have spent so much time together. Um, I kind of put them as a package,
Mm.
and for good or bad. But I again, I've never connected with her as a character.
I
So,
feel like I've given the character a lot of passes because I like the actress,
mhm,
and I liked her from The 100.
mhm,
So, I feel like I knowingly gave Alicia's the character of Alicia more chances than I've given other characters.
yeah, and I think if I mean I'm you know at the beginning when they ran into Virginia, okay, before the apocalypse or the nuclear one anyway,
Mhm.
um, and they had Charlie and Alicia and Strand together, and they were killing walkers and this, that, and the other up until the point that Victor pulled that kid out and fed him to the walkers.
Oh
I'd
gosh,
really
yeah.
hoped that at that point, that I had hoped that that was going to be a turning point for Strand towards a more decent character. You know what I mean?
I actually remember when after that episode, you were so put out that he did that to the kid.
I
I'm like,
was,
"Oh my god."
because they had
That
been
was
actually
wild.
trying to show a kinder, gentler
Yeah.
Strand. Um, and that was a point where I'm like, okay, yeah, that he's destined to be the next Negan, the next bad guy. I knew he was going to be.
Mhm.
Um, but they had a real opportunity there to for Strand to actually be more than he has ever been before.
Yeah.
To actually be the man he wanted to be while, trying to beat Morgan, to the control panel.
I mean,
He could have
he
actually been the person that he foresaw himself being.
well, he was even trying to you didn't watch during this time, but he was even trying to be, like, a better person when he was with Madison, like, in
Yeah,
Mexico and stuff. I feel like he was trying to be a better person.
yeah. But,
Yeah.
instead they just went, no, we're sending you down a dark, dark path. You know,
Mhm.
because we were even hoping that Strand was playing some long game with Virginia. And it turned out, no,
No.
no, he wasn't.
No.
No, no long game.
We were hoping, but there wasn't one.
Nope.
I
You
guess
know,
his long game was to get himself in a better position.
yeah, it was to get power. That was his long. It wasn't to help the group. It wasn't to reunite them. It wasn't nothing. It was so he could have power and
Mhm.
eventually, hopefully, replace Virginia. That was the
Yeah,
whole
he would have
thing.
taken her out if he could have. Once he had enough people
Followers.
behind him and enough, yeah, he would have. That would
Well,
have
and
been
that's
it.
essentially what he did.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm I'm hoping that so we got 4 episodes left, and I'm hoping at some point in the next 4 episodes, I would even be okay if they did a time jump and then introduced Madison.
I wouldn't mind that, but I honestly would not like for I would okay, I would love for Alicia and Madison to have one meeting before Alicia dies.
Yeah, that's true.
And if they time jump it, she might not be around.
They could always do a flashback, I suppose.
I guess they
Um,
could.
but yeah, I mean, I am hoping that at some point before the credits roll in the last episode, that there is a time jump.
Yeah, give it to us so we can like at least know, even if it's in the final episode and it's like
Mm-hmm.
a couple of minutes in the new time, right?
Right.
Even if
And
it's like at very end, just give it to us so we know that we'll be looking forward to something new in season 8.
right. Kind of like they did with, you know, um, The Walking Dead. They bopped us forward 6 months from them meeting the Commonwealth.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
and
do
again, it
that.
was like that 5 minutes of, are you sure you want to do this? Yes, I do.
I know, right? They've got a lot of work to do. So, you guys, I think we're done. What do you think, Lisa?
I do believe so.
Okay, you guys, be sure to come back next week and let's talk about episode 13. If you are still here listening live, we appreciate you for being here for the entire conversation. If you are listening on the replay, thank you for listening to the entire episode. Please hit the like button and subscribe or follow, depending on where you're listening from, before you leave, and we will catch you guys next week. Until then, take care, guys.
Bye bye.